All right.
Good morning. Hey, my friend.
Hey, it's
Great
nice
to
to
see
connect with
you.
you on Zoom. Thanks for inviting me over.
Yeah.
Let me close my other window so I'm not distracted. I'm very easily
And I
distracted.
looked at your work. Your work is gorgeous. And it's funny, it's like
Thank you.
I was imagining so just to tell who everybody's watching this, so this is me and Seshu are having a conversation about just who he just I posted this my coming out kind of like
Well, kind of.
not sexually, but my coming out experience of like
Yeah.
being saying
Yeah.
this is who I am, what I'm doing, and Seishu was the first or second person to respond. Oh my God, someone responded. A photographer, professional photographer, responded
Sure.
about this thing about capturing authenticity. And of course, I went to your website and I was imagining that you needed me, that you might need me. But I looked at
Yeah.
your work, and
I
your
do
work
need you.
has your work has that quality. So I was like, oh, I was
Sure.
kind of disappointed because you weren't desperate. So now talking to you though, it's like
Yeah.
um, kind of cool that you get like maybe you get it. And tell me,
Yeah.
and we were just talking, and I said, oh my God, let's
Yeah.
capture this because you were saying some cool stuff. So
I don't know if I can repeat the cool stuff because once it's all said and done, cool stuff just goes away, right? Um,
absolutely,
so one of the things I think one of the things that I think I may have mentioned to you is that the topic that you have decided to work on, this idea of authenticity or photographing people in an authentic way, or at least producing photographs or portraits that are authentic in feeling, isn't it's what everybody wants, I think, but
mm-hmm.
a lot of people miss out on focusing on that
Right,
first. I think that should be the first thing we should be going for. We
right,
shouldn't be going for the fancy gels and lighting and location. All that stuff is great. I mean, it's fantastic. But as you say in your video, if you have a photograph of a person and their eyes are just flat or their expressions flat, for me, when I look at it, that's a fail. That's
yeah,
a missed opportunity, right? And you say there's an easy way to correct for it. And I'm like, what could that be? So you piqued my interest in that regard, and even though my process is very much about you know getting people to just let their guard down, relax, whatever it is, and just talk to me like they're talking to me, like you
mm,
and I are talking to each other right now.
yeah,
You know, that's where I think things start. And I have my own approach, but I'm always curious to know, like, how's everybody else doing this?
yeah,
How are the photographers engaging with their clients? How are they keeping them excited about their portrait session? Which
yeah.
I'm taking a course right now, actually, by a photographer named Dave Brosha. I don't know if you know Dave's work.
No,
Dave's a Canadian photographer, amazing photographer, phenomenal portrait photographer, landscape photographer. He does it all. I think
yeah,
but his portraits are just sublime. Man, I'll send you a link when we're done here. Um, and one of the things he talks about is how portraits are a way of telling somebody's story, right? It
mm,
could be a way of describing who that person is, being able to bring out their story to the forefront, right?
mm,
Because that's how we celebrate each other in a way. Because we have to talk about, we don't talk about it. We show how or who somebody is by the way they are either standing or sitting or whatever, they're or expressing themselves. Ultimately, it's the expression that I think wins the day for a lot of us, if I'm not mistaken. Without that expression, I feel like, what am I looking at?
right. It's
You know?
and it right, and it's
So
just like missed opportunity.
it is, and
It's sad, kind of sad when you see it. Okay, we could
yeah,
have had something real, but we didn't.
right, right.
What a way, oh well.
But here's the thing that I think that bugs me more than anything else is that missed opportunity tells me that I haven't served my client to the best
Yeah,
ability that I have, right? So that and in that regard, I can almost have to give them a refund because
I
I'm like
totally get it.
I can't charge you for this because there's nothing here
Right.
for you to be like super thrilled with, you know.
That's so cool that you share that thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I feel
And I see
like
it in your work. So, the ones your
yeah,
main, I just saw the first, but your main example for
yeah.
photos, like every single one of them had that. And it was cool to see that.
Thank you, thank you. I'm working on it. As I said, I'm a work in progress. I do
Yeah.
not stop learning, and when I saw your videos, like what is this about? I mean, you
Yeah.
know, and I was like,
Yeah.
and the other thing I gotta tell you that it immediately sparked a memory for me because I don't know if you know Jesh the Rocks. Do you know
Oh
Jesh?
yeah. No, Jesh, when we spoke about this, actually,
Yeah.
please keep on going. Yes.
So,
I
but
know his work.
Jesh's work is very similar in that
Yeah.
it's very much about the experience that the client is having in front of your lens, right?
Yeah.
You're able to bring out through prompts and invites
Yeah.
the expressions that are naturally them, and you're not asking them to smile or laugh or
Yeah.
cry or anything. Those things just come out of them because of the way you present the photograph, or you present those invites to them. And I think there's something really powerful in the way he does it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there are a couple other photographers who are, obviously following along in those very similar footsteps of Josh's,
Yeah.
of just inviting. I mean, I love that
Yeah.
word because I think that's where we need to be, is that we're inviting people into an interaction,
Yeah.
either within themselves or with somebody they love, their family.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's also an interaction with you, but it's minimized in the way that he does that. It's not, it's not, it's not, it's not the first and foremost thing. It's not about you playing to the
Right.
camera as much as you just being you, being
Yeah.
authentically you, right?
Yeah.
I think
Not,
that's really something else too. And
do you mind if
lastly, I
I
got to.
speak? Can I speak to that just so I don't have some thoughts
Yeah,
in my mind?
please, yeah,
So,
go
like
ahead.
me, so it's interesting. Like in doing this and having to do this the way I have, it's like so many different ways of it coming out. And the thing I think I mentioned it in the video, that the first element was, and I didn't really say it exactly, was kind of in the Jesh direction ish, where
Mm-hmm.
there's this real. So I had this ability to, I don't know what just gift, I lucky to have this ability that in the session I would, these online dating, um, people needing photos, middle-aged, divorced is generally my thing. And I was able to see their amazingness, like really on a pure level,
Mm-hmm.
and really feel it and reflect it back to them, and watch them, when I shared what I saw, watch them become it, kind of, and right in front of my eyes. And I realized I was part of this transformation with this person, was transforming from my eyes. That kind of, that's what kept me in the ball game of going forward with online dating photography, because something about that
Sure.
situation allowed this possible thing to happen, which wouldn't likely happen in a headshot or a portrait or a
Yeah.
family. It's something, because it's such a vulnerable thing anyways. So that level of realness just touched me. And in the photo result, it was kind of weird. Am I doing this on a personal level for the client, or is it for the photo? And it was really both, but it was almost like more important that it was personal. But the end result was, you see the client, that visual of the client feeling self-assured, feeling good about who they were, was absolutely visible in the photo.
Yeah.
And that, so it was almost like kind of weird. Am I doing it for the photo? Am I doing it for the client? And it was
Yeah.
it was both, but it kind of more for the client. And so that's that's what started me, this gesture rocks level, really what's happening with the client. But honestly, a lot of my stuff is not that. It's tricks. It's a whole combination of things that in that instant. So here's the bottom line. Camera aware happens, and blank happens when camera aware happens. And there's lots of ways. One option is simply to distract the client,
Yep.
just simply to distract the client. And there's lots of different ways to do that for an instant, right? For an absolute instant, because in a second later, they're going to remember that you're there. But for that second that they forgot you were there, They were, even if it's just that they're within themselves being, that's different than blank. Blank
Sure.
is, I'm noticing you and I'm wondering what you're telling me to do, and oh shit, you're there with the camera. But the other thing is just being is real. Just simply being is real,
Right.
and how to do that, and it's in an instant, right? And I'm not, and let's say I want to capture strength or pride. I'm not claiming that this person, that's who the person is, but we could do something that for an instant, a micro instant, they can truly be in that place of feeling their
Hmm.
own strength and pride. And I have ways of both eliciting that genuineness for an instant and how to capture it for an instant before it goes away.
Sure.
And that's kind of my thing. It's sort of, it's less, honestly, it's less, in some ways it's less genuine than Gesture Rock stuff, in sort of, because I love his, me and him, we had a conversation about this. I called him and say, Jesh, I'm about to do this thing. What do you think? And he was wonderful that we had this
Hmm.
wonderful conversation about it.
Sure.
And I love his work and I use his work. You know, it's all, most of it's for couples, and other people have too. Like, here's a line to say, like, say this line to the couple, give this instruction. There's lists of, prompts, right?
Prompts. Yep. Hmm.
And you can, like, a shuffle a deck. Here's a prompt. Here's a prompt. And my concept of what I'm about to present is not a list of prompts. It's to get it. Like, I get it. I'm a, call myself the ninja in it. Like, I have this sense of all the different ways of noticing authenticity when it's there, but sometimes it actually is there and you don't even know it. So during the photo shoot, authenticity is happening. It's usually when it's there's ways of paying attention to it
Hmm.
and finding ways of capturing it
Yeah.
and then repeating it. There's like a whole different angles to go on. It's almost like, it's the complete guide to getting what that process could be like, to be that ninja of authenticity. And it's not a one-sided thing of prompts, but there are. So there's also lists of do this, do this, do this, do this to get this, do this to get this, and do this to get this. And there's also your mindset, like what it's all about. What do I need to be paying attention to? Something didn't work for this client. How can I tweak it to get something different? Or how can I repeat this thing that the client just did, and it worked. So anyway, so it's a complete guide, and absolutely Gesture Rocks. Absolutely. Another person, I can't believe I forgot her name. A woman, Sue Bryce. So Sue Bryce, she doesn't really go into it much, but one of her things is, and watching her workshops, I wish I just had a full-on workshop with her. Her posing is amazing, but the thing she does with her client, she looks at them in their, I think she does the kind of thing I do. Like, she falls in love with the client, and she gazes before the session starts, she gazes into their client's eyes, and watching her workshops, you can see the transformation happening. Like, that client is feeling her love, her admiration, and change and transforming right in front of you. And with that belief, it's almost like, she's putting the clients into this model like excellence, right? When a client might not believe they are that, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
before the session starts, she allows the client to be that. And it's like, wow. So again, that's one, not trick, but that's one method. And Gesture Rocks has methods. And the way what this is different, and this I don't think exists honestly in the planet, is how to just get it in all the different facets of authenticity in a photo, how to actually just get it and work it, like, lighting, posing, your camera. Why not let this aspect that we know we're talking about, it's visible, it shows up, we know when it's there, we know when it's not there. Why shouldn't we be taught that? And we're saying in the beginning, nobody, that should almost be the first thing we're taught, the first thing we try to do. And it's ignored, except for we have a trick or two, and we try our best, see what happens. It's more important than that. I'm sorry that, keep on going. I was on a roll.
Oh, you were on a roll. That's nice. You're right. I mean, everything you said resonates with me, and I think that's why we're talking. Is that you have a certain approach to this. I mean, I'm intrigued by what that is, and I think you're going to go over some of that on a webinar of some sort. I believe is that true?
It's going to
Is
be
that what
some
you got
kind of
planned?
something. I'm not sure.
Something, some
There's
kind
going
of
to be some
something.
kind
Okay.
of something where there's going to be, yes, it's going to be a webinar kind of, I'm not really sure what it's going to be. Probably a webinar kind of thing, but it might be a live thing. I'm not really sure.
Okay. When is
Yeah,
this going to be?
I have no idea. I know it's, but actually, so I put a link in the thing, to
Yeah.
just put your name there, and then I'll let you know when it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I put my name in. I've already like
Oh, did
you
you really? Cool.
probably already got the information on your side, but I mean, I'm intrigued and I'm interested in learning more, and definitely keep me posted. So
Cool. But
uh,
can I interrupt you one before on the call, which really wanted me to stop short and have this
yeah,
conversation
yeah, yeah, yeah,
on recording
yeah.
is you said something. I hope we're recording. We
It's
are.
recording. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
said you were describing your about about senior portraits. Like you were describing the disappointment when you see, something about your experience seeing senior portraits that don't have that. And would you mind just,
Yeah.
what do you think about, tell me about, if you can go back to that, what you were saying about that.
Well, I think our high school seniors are at an age where they're, I know from my experience, they're either supremely confident about who they are and what they've accomplished, or they're very shy and nervous. And there are people in between, of course, uh, and when it comes down to it, if you're photographing high school seniors, you want as a parent, and I'm talking now as a parent more than a photographer. I want to be able to see a sense of like a spark of joy, or some sort of expression that just sort of conveys to us who they are. And when I scroll through photographs of high school seniors, they're in pretty places, beautiful meadows and flowers and bridges and this and that, and I mean the locations are always going to be amazing for sure. But as you zoom in and you sort of go, hey, does this person's expression say they want to be there? Or does it say that they are ready to bolt?
Right.
And a lot of the times I'm just going, oh my God, it's a missed opportunity. Again, we are talking about this before, but it is an opportunity that we tend to let go of very, very quickly because we either don't know how important it is, or we feel like we've done everything else in terms of lighting and location and the outfits they're wearing, and we think we're done. We're done. And here's the thing. I mean, all of that is important. I'm not saying don't do all of that, but I'm saying bring the attention back here. You know, let's see some attitude. Let's see some expression here that says this is who this person is, right? Because 20 years from now, when that person is looking at the photographs of themselves or sharing it with their kids, kind of impact that's going to make on that family at that point of time
Yeah.
is immense.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to go, wow, mom was like a badass, right? In high school.
Yeah.
And she still is, right? Or, my God, my dad's still an amazing baseball player.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't probably run as fast as in the picture, but this is who he is right now.
Yeah.
It elevates. That's the beauty of photography in my mind. It elevates our ability to better understand who we are surrounded by, and I think if we can pay attention to expression, we pay attention to all the things we've talked about, lighting and location and outfits and this and that. But I think the expression, I think, is where I just go crazy. I
Yeah.
go when I see it, I'm going, oh wow, you
Yeah.
got it going on,
And when you say expression, let's just pick that apart a little bit. Like,
Sure.
um, it's not. Well, I know what you're saying. It's an expression that is emerging from within. It's not something that's
Yeah. Yeah.
controlled from without, because I
Right.
could have an expression that I
Yes.
put on my face and it's night and day, 100% different when it's
Sure.
obvious when you look at that face, it is
It's
emerging
forced.
from within.
Right. Yeah. You
And
don't want
that,
something. You don't want something forced.
right.
You want something that's genuinely
Yeah.
theirs.
And that's what you're
naturally
referring
there.
to.
Yes. Yeah.
When you say expression,
Yeah.
when you see that genuine realness within the subject. Am
Yeah.
I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be there, and it takes effort. It takes
Yeah.
time. Right.
And it takes an aware. I mean, in this case, honestly, just to sell my stuff, it just takes the knowledge of how to do it. Because no
Yeah.
matter how much time, people just simply,
Yeah.
it has not been taught yet. For
Yeah.
real, it has not been taught yet. And nobody, why would, and it so happens, just to again push, I happen to have the opportunity that I had to become the expert doing online dating photos and realizing how important that connection was. And I did, and I had to, and I'm just the kind of guy that is into that kind of stuff. So that combination just did it.
Cool.
And let me quickly, I know you got to run
Yeah.
quickly. I'm going to show you a little, I ended up putting something together just to show you a little bit of my work. If I can find it, here it is. Let me just get back. Okay. Okay, here we go. Authenticity pose camera aware photos. These photos were for online dating photos. See if you can kind of get them.
Mhm.
Can you feel the subject? Do you feel connected with them? Can you imagine how powerful these kinds of photos could be in the relationship marketplace called online dating?
Mhm.
And if I'm talking to professional photographers, if you can imagine adding this type of reel
Oh
to
yeah.
any of your professional work. And this one is, okay, well, I'm not going to go through talking about stuff. And looking in the eyes of them, it's like clear that there's something real. And these were subjects that knew I was there,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Not only do they know you're there, they've paid you for taking their pictures. So I think there's a certain obligation or commitment that you're making to them and saying, hey, I want to be able to produce photographs that are authentically you, because
Yeah.
that's how the world really should be seeing them as who they are, and
Yeah.
not some put on, like some there's just so many opportunities to do it right, and I feel like why not do it the right way, so
Absolutely.
I was thinking along the lines of also, when you started talking about authenticity and things like that. I mean, I do a fair number of headshot
Yeah,
photography
I
as
saw that.
well,
Yep.
and I think you know I have, as I said, I already have a sort of a process thanks
Yeah.
to Peter Hurley and
Peter Hurley, right?
folks. Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter has a great approach to bringing out expressions of people, and I think that works for the
Yep.
headshot world. But there's always something that I can learn from somebody else, and so I'm looking forward to what you got going on.
Oh, thanks so much,
Yeah,
Seshu. And thanks so much for just
yeah.
chiming in. It felt really good, to
Yeah, I mean, I almost felt like I put you on the spot by saying, "Hey, let's see some
you
pictures."
did, and it forced me to put something together. And thank you. I went right. It
Yeah,
was like you publicly put me on the spot. I was like, because I didn't
like,
really
yeah,
have anything,
yeah,
specifically for this purpose, and I had
yeah.
to, of course. So thank you.
Well, I don't know if this part is going to be used in any way, but I mean, if you are promoting or launching,
Actually, let me end this
yeah,
recording. Okay. So
yeah,
Seshu, thank you.
you're
This is
welcome.
awesome.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.